can't believe I'm here, playing for my life tonight.
I can't believe I'm here, I made it, I'm playing for my life tonight. I'm a shining light. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm here, playing for our life tonight. Yeah, I'm playing for our life tonight.
Welcome, guys, to Kingdom Driven Sports. I really appreciate you stopping by. It's going to be a brief video on my Week 2 NFL picks, and I wanted to go ahead and get those out before the game between the Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers, which we'll start off with. So I got my handy-dandy tablet here where I have all the information about the games and my picks. And so let's go ahead and get started. Again, we're going to start with the Commanders at the Packers. The Packers are 3.5-point favorites, and I have them winning by 3 points. So they don't quite cover the spread, but I think it ends up being a great game between two really good teams. I think Green Bay wins this one 31-28. 31-28. We're going to go next to the Giants at the Cowboys, where the Cowboys are 5.5-point favorites. And yeah, I think they win, and they win by the spread. I think they win 24-17. The only reason I have it that close is because it's a divisional game. Just like the Cowboys and Eagles is a great rivalry, so is the Giants and Cowboys. So I think this will be closer in score than an actual play in the field. But I do have the Cowboys winning 24-17. The next game is the Bears at the Lions. This is another 1 o'clock game. The Lions are favored by 5.5. Oh, so this was a tough one for me. But I think I'm going to go with the Bears on this one. I think Ben Johnson gets a win over his former team. He was the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, and this is his first year as the head coach for the Chicago Bears. And I just have a feeling he gets his first win as a head coach over his former team, and they win 30-20. So I just have some pretty big concerns based on what I saw last week against Green Bay. So I'm interested to see if Johnny Morton, the new Detroit offensive coordinator, if he's going to have a better game plan or how that's going to go. But I do think that Ben Johnson, it being his former team, I know they also have a new defensive coordinator, but I wonder if he's going to at least have a little bit familiar with the Detroit defense to where he's going to be able to take advantage of knowing their defense. So again, that's the Chicago 30, Detroit 20. Another 1 o'clock game is the Seahawks at the Steelers. Okay, so I saw how Aaron Rodgers played, and I think he's back, and I think he's going to do well again. And because it's at Pittsburgh, who's favored by 3, I think they do win. I think they win by 10. I think it's a 31-21 in favor of Pittsburgh. And I think Steeler Nation is going to be very happy with their 2-0 start. Patriots and Dolphins out 1 p.m. I was surprised to learn that the Dolphins are favored, maybe because they're at home, but they're favored by 1.5. But after that performance last week, I cannot take the Dolphins. I'm taking the Patriots 24-10. And until the Dolphins prove otherwise, I may pick against them every week unless they play the Saints. Then I'll have to flip a coin. Another 1 o'clock game is the Browns at Ravens. This is tricky for me because it's a divisional game, and Cleveland can sometimes play spoiler. I know they're, for lack of a better term, the little brother that gets beat up in that division. But the Ravens currently are favored by 12.5 points. I don't think they win by 12.5 points. I don't think they lose the game, though, because it's hard for me to imagine John Harbaugh and the Ravens being 0-2. So I have Baltimore winning 27-24. Cleveland keeps it a lot closer. There were some flashes from Dylan Sampson I really liked that made me wish that the Kansas City Chiefs would have picked him up. But because it's a divisional game and because Cleveland is just one of those weird teams in their own division, they can wreak havoc at times. I think that they make it closer than people expect. So 27-24, Baltimore comes out on top, but they definitely don't win by 12.5. Then we have Jaguars at Bengals. I am going to go with the Jaguars on this one. The Bengals offense didn't look great. In fact, Cleveland they had opportunities to win that game. The Bengals won by 1 point. Now it's encouraging that Cincinnati is actually winning week 1, possibly week 2. If they win in week 2, then they can put to bed all those things that they can't win, all those rumors that they can't win in September. But for right now, even though the Bengals are favored by 3.5, I have Jacksonville beating them 30-21, just because Jacksonville looked pretty good. And so I want to see if Liam Cohen has them disciplined and ready to go again. 49ers at Saints. This is tough because earlier on Wednesday, Kyle Shanahan said that Brock Purdy's probably going to miss quite a few games. George Kittle is on injured reserve, and Brandon Ayuk is not back. And so I was like, okay, it's going to be tough. Mac Jones is going to be making the start for the Niners, who are 4.5-point favorites at the Saints. But because it's the Saints, I'm going with the Niners. I don't think the Niners covered the spread. I think they win by 3, 23-20. But again, the Saints are just in such a bad position. I think they're like them and the Giants. And now Miami. Miami did not look good. So I'm thinking, even without a lot of their key players, I think the 49ers are still able to pull it off. And they win by 3, 23-20. Next game is the Rams at the Titans, and I feel like a lot of people sleep on the Rams. And they're like, the Rams, whatever. I think they're going to do really well in this game, 38-21. They're favored by 5.5. I just think the Titans are going through those growing pains. Cam Ward is a rookie quarterback. This is going to be his second game that he started. I just think there's going to be growing pains, and I think they're still a few pieces away from being contenders. They can draft right and maybe get some pieces through free agency. Then maybe we can talk about the Titans in a few years as being contenders. But the Rams are a lot closer to being Super Bowl contenders than the Titans are. So I think they win that game 38-21. Now, this might be a surprise pick. I think this is going to be one of my surprise picks of the week. The Bills are favored by 7 at the Jets. I think they have a bit of a hangover game. Because it's a division game. And if you remember, I think it was last year, was the year that Aaron Rodgers went down with his Achilles injury. So I think it was 2 years ago. The Jets stunned the Bills. It was like a last second punt return, I think it was. But I think just because of how well the Jets played, and I think because of the emotional high and the emotions that ran through the Bills team in that victory over the Ravens, I think the Jets kind of catch them off guard and they win that game. It's close, but I think the Jets win. It's at the Jets, and I think they win 33-31 in a really good game. But that's one of my spoilers, one of my surprise picks there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo wins, but I'm just going with my gut. And my gut has been wrong before, but I just thought it'd be fun to pick the Jets. I think Aaron Glenn has them in the right direction. So I'm going to go with the Jets in that game. We have the Panthers at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 6.5 point favorites. And I've lost all faith in the Panthers now. I thought, oh, maybe they'll start off well because they finished well last year. Down, they start off poorly. They couldn't protect Bryce Young. I don't think they're going to protect him again this week. I think Arizona just wins pretty convincingly, 27-14. But yeah, it was not a pretty game for Carolina last week against Jacksonville. So I think they struggle again this week, and they lose that game to Arizona. The Broncos at the Colts. This was, golly, man, because I can't stand the Broncos. The Donkeys, as many people call them. I'm a Chiefs fan, so of course I can't stand the Broncos. I hope they lose every single game for the rest of eternity, and if they never win again, it's too soon. They're 2.5-point favorites at the Colts, and I want to say, man, like, the Colts look good. But I don't think Sean Payton's going to have that Broncos team playing as miserably as they did 2 weeks in a row. I think he's going to have lots of things cleaned up. That defense is elite. It is a great defense. I think it's going to cause Daniel Jones a lot more problems than the Miami defense did. It's going to be a night and day difference in the defense. And I think Denver wins. I think it's a close game. I think they win 24-23. But yeah, I think the Broncos win that game, and they wreak a bit of havoc on Daniel Jones and that offense, more so than what they faced with Miami. That's for sure. And we have what many are considering game of the week, Super Bowl rematch between the Eagles and the Chiefs. The Eagles are 1.5-point favorites. And I'm trying to come at this objectively and see, I have the very big concerns about the Chiefs. Justin Herbert just tore them up, picked them apart. That was not pretty by any means. Their secondary seemed non-existent. Almost seemed like their receivers, the Charger receivers, could have packed a lunch, ate their lunch, and still had time to catch the ball. There was no pressure on Justin Herbert, which concerns me because that was an issue last year, and that the Chiefs couldn't really get pressure on the quarterback without blitzing, and that just doesn't work. And so the Eagles are favored by 1.5 points. They're going to have Jalen Carter back, so that's arguably their best defensive player. I would say he is. Again, objectively, now that the Chiefs don't have Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice is suspended. Xavier Worthy is injured, won't be back. Definitely won't be back for this game, and Lord knows how long he'll be out. Jalen Royals, their rookie, even if he was healthy, I mean, he's a rookie, so I don't know how much he would contribute. It would be one to tip the scales, but he's not going to be playing. And so I think a lot of this is going to lead to a Philadelphia victory. I think the Chiefs are able to at least keep it close. Mahomes magic, him and Travis Kelce, maybe you can get it going a little bit, and Tyquan Thornton might be able to stretch the field for them. Hollywood Brown might be able to help them as well. But I just think there's too many people missing on the Chiefs offense, whether it be through injury, suspension, or whatnot. Their defense is very questionable right now, and that's a really good Philadelphia offense that's run, maybe not getting the eye-popping numbers, but run very efficiently. And so I have Philadelphia going into Arrowhead and beating the Chiefs 27-23. I make my picks. I'm trying to remove my fandom and be realistic. And right now, my heart says, go Chiefs. My head says Philadelphia probably wins this game. And 27-23. And if they are able to enforce the game plan that they did last year in the Super Bowl on the Chiefs, then it might get ugly. So, again, I hate to admit that as a Chiefs fan, but right now I have to go with the Eagles winning 27-23 and covering that 1.5 point spread. All right. So we then have our Sunday night game, right, which is the Falcons at the Vikings. The Vikings are favored by 3.5. But I have Michael Penix coming out and getting a victory. 28-24. I think it's a close game. But I think the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, even though he had a decent game, he had that pick six that was a bad pick six against Chicago. But I think there will be more growing pains. And I think that the Falcons take advantage, maybe a turnover or two, and are able to win that game 28-24 and cover that. Well, actually, no, they're not favored. The Vikings are favored, so they'll just win that game outright. So, again, Falcons at Vikings. I have Atlanta winning 28-24. We then have the Monday night games. So the first one is the Buccaneers at the Texans. The Texans did not look good. They were another team that was surprising that they looked bad. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. They didn't look cohesive. But that being said, they are 2.5-point favorites. They're at home against the Buccaneers. But I'm taking the Buccaneers because the Buccaneers, I just have more faith in their team right now overall, how they're performing, how they've been, even though they didn't make the Super Bowl last year or anything like that, they made the playoffs. But I just have more faith in the cohesiveness that I see in their team than I do in the Texans. So I have them beating Houston 30-21. And then the second Monday night game that we have is the Chargers at the Raiders. That should be a good game, a division game. The Chargers are favored by 3.5 over the Raiders. And I have the Chargers winning. The way that Justin Herbert looked, Quentin Johnson is starting to live up to what they were hoping for when they got him. And he looked good. He's a big receiver and can go up and get the ball. And so he looked good in that first week against the Chiefs. And I think that Justin Herbert, if he plays the way he did against Kansas City, he may, at the end of the year, be holding up the MVP trophy. He just looked really, really good. So I have the Chargers winning 23-17 over the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that Jim Harbaugh will have that team ready. I know Pete Carroll's on the other side, but given how much their rush game, running game struggled against the Patriots, I think Jim Harbaugh will take advantage of that. And it'll be interesting to see Gianti versus Hampton, because they're both rookie running backs. Like last week where I said I trusted Geno more than I trusted Drake May. I think I trust Justin Herbert a little bit more than I trust Geno. But don't count Geno out. I wouldn't be surprised, because of the division game. But Geno has been proving people wrong for a while now, since the Seattle days. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders won this game, and Geno had a lot to do with that. But I'm picking the Chargers just because I think I like the way that Jim Harbaugh had them playing in that Week 1 victory over Kansas City more than what I saw from Las Vegas and their win over New England. So there you have it, folks. Those are my picks for this week. I look forward to reading your comments, seeing what you guys say. But God bless you guys. I look forward to our next video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And remember, keep Jesus first.